Hello students, good morning. Today let's start with cell biology. We'll see what is cell biology, what is cell, who was the first person who discovered cell, and what are the different types of cell, what are the similarities between them, what are the differences between them, everything we shall see. So actually when you look around, you see both living and non-living things, okay? You must have wondered and asked yourself, what is it that makes an organism living? Or what is it that an inanimate thing doesn't have, which a living thing has? The answer to this is the presence of the basic unit of life, that is nothing but a cell, in all the living organisms. Okay, all organisms are composed of cells. Some are composed of a single cell, they are called as unicellular organisms, while others, like us, are composed of many cells, hence we are going to term as multicellular organisms. Okay, so what is cell biology? Cell biology is nothing but it is a study of cell structure and its function, and it revolves around the concept that the cell is the fundamental unit of life. Focusing on the cell permits a detailed understanding of the tissues and the organisms that cells compose. Okay, so cell was first time discovered by Robert Hooke in the year 1665. What made him to derive the word cell? What did he underwent to introduce the term cell? The reason is here. Yeah. So while observing cork through his microscope, this is known as his microscope in earlier days, Robert Hooke's microscope. This is actually invented, and he used this microscope to see the cork of quercus. Okay, quercus is a plant. He has taken the cork of it. I hope you all know what is cork. Cork is nothing but it is a tissue found in many vascular plants as a part of epidermis. Not only that, we have a region of phellum, they have a region of phelloderm. Phellum is nothing but it is a tissue formed on outer surface of the phellogen or a cork cambium. It is made up of dead cells, protective in function, and the deposition like suberization is present. When we talk about phelloderm, this is also a tissue which is formed on the inner side of phellogen. It is made up of living cells involved in storage of food, and here the deposition of suberization is completely absent. But when we talk about phellum, suberization is present. That makes a difference between phellum and phelloderm. Here cork means it is a tissue which is found in many vascular plants, means which has xylem and phloem as a vascular as a tissues. In such plants it acts as a part of epidermis. Okay, so here it is. While observing the cork through his microscope, this is what he has seen through his microscope. While observing this, Hooke actually saw a tiny box-like cavities. This you can see honeycomb-like structure, tiny box-like cavities that he actually illustrated and described as cells. Hooke detailed his observation of his tiny and previously unseen world in his book called Micrographia. You'll come to know about it in a later slides. To him, actually, the cork looked as if it was made of tiny pores, which he came up to call it as cells, because they reminded him of the cells in a monastery. Now, what is monastery? Monastery is nothing but a building or buildings occupied by a community of monks, where monks live under some religious vows, that we are going to call it as monastery. In a monastery, there are small cells. So when he see this, he felt that he observed the same and described the same, and hence the term came to in his mind that we also will call such tiny pores, such box like structures as cell. So he is the first person to term the cell. He discovered the cell, but it was a dead cell. Okay, so living cell for the first time was discovered by whom? He is the scientist called Anton von Leeuwenhoek. You must know the difference. Robert Hooke is a scientist who has discovered cell for the first time, but he discovered the cell which is dead. Living cell for the first time was discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Now don't confuse with Robert Hooke and Robert Brown. Robert Hooke is a person who discovered cell. Robert Brown is a person who has discovered nucleus. Okay, majority of the students will get confusion between two Roberts, Robert Hooke and Robert Brown. So you should be clear with the two scientists. Robert Hooke is known for cell, Robert Brown is known for a nucleus. So, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch lens maker, used a homemade microscope. He used to make a microscope. He used to make lenses. So he have the look at some pond scum. He was the first person to see single-celled organisms. He called them as animalcules. Okay, so he is the first person to see a living cell. Robert Brown is the first person to discover cell, but it was dead. It has to be clear in your mind, so I'm telling you again and again. So he has observed, Anton von Leeuwenhoek has observed a single cell means unicellular organism. Hence he named them as animalcules. Talking about Robert Hooke, coming back to Robert Hooke, the cell was first discovered by Robert Hooke in the year 1665. So in the year 1665, the discovery of cell was done by Robert Hooke, which we can find to be described in his book called Micrographia. In a book called Micrographia is written everything like how he discovered cell, what made him to give a title for that as cell. Everything is discovered in his book called Micrographia. So in this book he gave 60 observations in detail of various objects under a coarse compound microscope. One observation was from very thin slices of bottle cork. Okay, so what is cell now? Cell comes from a Latin word which means small room. It is nothing but a functional and structural unit of all living organisms. Unicellular organisms are capable of independent existence and performing the essential functions of life. Anything less than a complete structure of a cell does not ensure independent living. Hence, cell is a fundamental, structural and functional unit of all the living organisms. Just now I said Anton von Leeuwenhoek first saw and described a live cell. Robert Brown later discovered the nucleus. Robert Hooke, first scientist to discover and invent the term cell. The invention of the microscope and its improvement leading to the electron microscope revealed all the structural details of the cell. Studying the cell is important, but later on, as they went on inventing a new microscope, as per the generations, electron microscope came into existence, which showed and revealed all the structural details of the cell. Okay, so when considered to be a cell, then it will be of two types, a prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So what is prokaryotes? What are prokaryotes? What is prokaryotic cell? Prokaryotes, when we talk, they are microscopic single cell organisms which has neither a distinct nucleus with a membrane nor any other specialized cell organelles. Cell organelles are not, they are the tiny structures, they are the tiny components which are present in the cell overall in the cytoplasm. They have different functions, they are different in structure, which builds up to a big metabolism, activity, development of the cell. They contribute themselves, the functions of all the cell organelles contribute to the activity, the physiological metabolism, everything for the development of the cell. Okay, example for this is bacteria. When we talk about eukaryotes, these are the organism which consists of a cell or cells in which genetic material such as DNA is in the form of chromosomes containing with a distinct nucleus. So actually not only this, there are various differences which makes cell prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic. The first main thing, the first major difference you all know is presence of nucleus and nuclear membrane. It is present in eukaryotes, nucleus. Here I have given. Prokaryote, when we talk, it lack a nucleus or nuclear bond structures. Example, bacteria. When we talk about eukaryote, it have the nucleus and membrane bond organelles. We can see endoplasmic reticulum, we can see mitochondria, Golgi complex, plastids, everything, but that is absent in prokaryotic cell. They not only have an absence of a distinct nucleus, but also a membrane bond specialized cell organelles also we find missing in prokaryotes. So not only nucleus but also cell size, DNA replication, chromosomes, organism type, ribosomes, growth rate, organelles and ability to store the hereditary information, cell walls, plasma membrane, so on and so forth, they all contribute in making the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In the later classes, we shall study what are the differences again between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. There are actually a similarities also between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So in the later classes, we shall see what are the similarities and differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Then we can proceed to further. So here I end my class. Thank you.